Have you ever seen a trailer for a game that just speaks to your soul, saying, "Play me"? It has happened to me before, and I would honestly be shocked if it doesn't happen to me again in the future. Today's game first appeared on August 18, 2020, during a Nintendo Indie World showcase. And it just spoke to me. To begin with, the trailer showed off a beautiful world that I just knew I wanted to explore. Then, it shifted to one of the co-founders of the studio who made it, Shruti Ghosh. She spoke about how this was her studio's first game, and how it was taking inspiration from India and its culture. As an aspiring game developer myself, who wants to create games based on my own Irish heritage, this really spoke to me, and later that day I downloaded it. I played it for a short time, but other stuff got in my way, like my backlog. But today, I want to go back to it, and give my thoughts on the first few hours of the game. Hello everyone, I'm Ennis, and this is a quick thought on Raji, an ancient epic. So the game starts with a cutscene done like a puppet show.
This is the heart of our story.
Giving the backstory of Raji, her brother Gulu,
and Raji, brother and sister,
and the demons that come to attack the circus they work at, and also kidnap Gulu.
For the Garasura demons took Golu from her. Raji.
After the attack in which Raji was knocked out, she awakens to the voice of Durga, who calls Raji to her. This is the first point in the game that we actually get to control Raji, and immediately I can say two things. The first is that the location looks like an amazing stone monument. The second is I wish I could get a better view of it. Yeah, not only does the game have a fixed camera, but it also is extremely zoomed out, to the point where it is extremely hard to make out any fine details. Hell, you can hardly even see Raji's face, much less notice the small details about the world. But that's actually offset for the most part by just how amazing the world itself looks. Anyways, the first thing you can do once you gain control is go to Durga, who gives you the Trishul, which is a trident. The next portion of the game has Durga and Vishnu talking over your actions, as the game gives you a basic tutorial on how to jump over gaps. As you continue on, you constantly get glimpses of the demons carting off Gulu as you try to catch up to them, but each time you seem to make progress, it seems like they just make a bit more. During this time, we start to train with the Trishul, and after training with dummies, we fight actual demons. Now, I don't have anything really bad to say about the Trishul itself, but I wasn't really loving using it. Though, honestly, I couldn't really put my fingers onto why I didn't like it that much. Anyway, moving throughout the world, we pass many breathtaking sights, but I think some of the most amazing parts are the murals which tell the mythology of India. And personally, I think the best mural was the one about Durga's birth.
Your birth, Durga. The Devas knew it was their only chance to create a being capable of destroying their foe. All their power focused into one body, gifted with all their weapons. I wonder what your first thoughts were.
After that point is where the game takes the tutorial wheels off, though. And every battle is an actual battle. For the most part, anyways. Eventually, Vishnu finds Raji worthy and gives her a bow. And apparently it's actually just called a bow. Neither Vishnu nor Durga call it anything other than a bow, and I actually looked it up hoping it did have a name, but I couldn't find anything anywhere calling it anything other than a bow. Which is kind of disappointing considering the trident we have has an awesome name like the Trishul. But the bow itself makes up for it by being, in my opinion anyways, much more fun to play with. Ironically enough though, Ranged weapons are generally not my style when playing games, but I think the zoomed out perspective of the game that I mentioned earlier is the big difference here. Because I'm able to see a lot more of the field than I'm used to, it makes playing long range more natural for me. It also helps that I can call down a hail of arrows within a certain distance from Raji, which just looks awesome. But I digress. After getting the bow, I traverse through many stunning environments until I finally catch up with Gulu. And after another puppet show cutscene where Gulu is taken away again, this time through a portal, we fight the first boss of the game, a giant demon who is only named the Chieftain. Now, I know he is the first boss, but he didn't actually seem very hard at the beginning of the fight. I mean, one of his main attacks, where he throws a pike ball at you, will actually go over your head and not even touch you. I think this might have given me a false sense of security against him though, because when his health's lowered enough, he spins his 4 pike balls in a way that makes it impossible to get close to him. On top of this, because I was relying on the hail of arrows, I really couldn't get close enough to him when he spun around like that, and the standard arrow attacks were just too weak. It didn't really feel like it was making a dent on him. Because of this, I died a few times from him. Ironically enough, I only actually beat him when I decided to switch to my melee weapon, the Trishul, and use its long-range attack that I felt was doing enough damage to him. And after enough hits like that, he finally went down. After that, we are treated to another cutscene where Raji is knocked out as the building they fought in crumbled. While unconscious, she is taken to a boat and sent adrift to sea. By the time she awakens, she is drifting towards a city. And once she arrives at the shore of that city, you gain control again. And this is where I think is a good time to stop this quick thought on.
Too much of her.
So, for this quick thought on, I played for just about under 2 hours. And while there's some things I thought could be better, like maybe a movable camera as well as the ability to zoom in and examine the world at a much finer detail, the world itself just looks amazing, and the game really does feel like a window into Indian culture. As for if I would recommend this game, I would have to say absolutely. The game is fun enough on its own, and its environments are stunning, and the game really feels like a love letter to Indian culture, which is something we just don't see often enough in video games these days. And I will definitely continue playing it on my own time for sure. So, have you played Raji? If so, what do you think of it? If not, have I convinced you to maybe give it a try? Let me know in the comments below, and if you liked the video, hit the like button, and if you want to see more of my content, also consider subscribing if you aren't already. And with that, I'm Enes. That was a quick thought on Raji, an ancient epic, and this time it actually was a quick thought on. And until next time, game on.